Hey, comic art fans, how we doing tonight? So yeah, I see Mr. Redjack kind of put a little thought in there that I was thinking about myself as the show gets started today. It's been a pretty downer day, and not just because of the news from George Perez, but I think as far as our hobby goes and all of comics, if you read about the pancreatic cancer, post that George put out there today, that it's very, it's sad. And, George, we've talked about George so often, and I hate to just like jump right into it, but he's been on my mind almost all day since I read the post this afternoon. And, George has been somebody that we all have always talked about on the show, whether it's with guests or myself, just my experiences and your experiences with George. He's one of the nicest guys in the hobby. And so to read something like that from George, I mean, he has such a hopeful approach to life and a positive outlook on things that, I mean, you can't feel sad, but you can just remember that he's such a great guy, and he has such a positive way of looking at his life and his fans' life and lives and the things that he's done for all of us. Like I made a photo post on his Facebook page today, and shared a picture of him with my son, because I've probably got 3 or 4 of them, but that was probably one of the first ones I took with George and Ashton. And he was always he's just such a great guy. And to read something like that is just kind of reminds you, especially at the time of the holidays and everything like that, that there's a lot more important things out there, than spending a whole lot of money on art and everything. It's there's family and there's friends, and George is a remarkable man, and I wish him the best. I know that what he's faced with isn't something that any of us would ever want to be having to deal with in their families' lives ever. But yeah, no, I mean, it's I just had a bad afternoon, and it even started off worse. I found out, like, my our family doctor has a teenage son who passed away recently. I didn't know that. An appointment that my daughter was going to got canceled after she got there. She didn't know it was canceled, and their son died in their sleep 2 weeks ago. And we just found out that this morning. So it's really just a really bummer day for me in general. But George puts a positive spin on things. He wants, you read through everything that he wrote. He wants to like do one last con appearance and hang out with people. So I think that's really, that's George, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing what George has to say over the next few weeks, and just seeing where or when he might be able to get his appearance in. And that might be something that I try to attend, just to give him one last high five. And I think that anybody that can get out to see him should probably do that. And yeah, Samuel, yep. George's words are very sobering and incredibly put together. I mean, George, he's just one hell of a guy at the end of the day, and has a great way with words. So tonight we, as you know, I kind of juggled the schedule around a lot. And again, it's in part due to cons, as we talked about having dueling dealers yesterday because of Anthony's issues with traveling tomorrow. And I've been doing these ComicConnect previews, and I really enjoy doing them with Micah, but he's actually traveling to C2E2 on Thursday, which is the day I would normally do one of these. So that's kind of why we've kind of shuffled the schedule a little bit. And I'm going to be doing the ComicConnect preview tonight. So why don't we bring Micah into the studio? Hey, Micah, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the upbeat intro.
I know. I am so sorry. I should have warned you about that, because I really have. I've been down all day, and not like just bummed out. Because it's like as if we haven't had to like suffer enough through COVID, and the fact that we can't get out and hang out with our friends in person. That you get some news like that from somebody that not one person would ever have a bad thing to say about, right? I mean, you have to feel the same way.
Of course. I mean, I was going to bring it up anyway, so it's not like I was. You can't let something like that go ignored. He's a giant. He's one of those artists his work is instantly recognizable. He's done some of the biggest books of the last 40 years. And, it's like, how do you ignore that? And his work, his work will live forever. And that's, all any of us can hope for. It's the dream of an artist is that your work lives past you, whether, however, not to not, make light of, not making light of his situation and his family. It's awful, but it's it's comforting to know that his people will be reading his work and looking at his artwork, for as long as there are comics.
Exactly. No, that's pretty much what I wrote to him on the timeline too, was that, he's been bringing joy and spreading the great word of comics for years, and he'll continue to do that for decades to come, and it's very true.
Absolutely. And
comics live forever.
I've never heard anybody say anything unkind about him as a person. He's genuine, and he loves his fans. He loves the comics, and that comes across in the work. It comes across in his interviews. It comes across if you meet him. More people should be like him as far as how they approach what they do for a living. It's a privilege.
Oh yeah, it's funny. Even my father-in-law, who I feature in some of our Dueling Dealers bits, he was in it last night. He's a a play director. He's a thespian. He's run into George because George has done a lot of things in theater in Florida and has drawn like program guide covers for shows in the villages. So he's got a lot of interests, and he's touched a lot of people, even just beyond comics and everything. He's really just a remarkable guy, and I just think that it just shows you what it's so wonderful. I mean, his life he's led has been so charmed in so many ways that he's able to thrill people in comics and on the stage, and touching people who don't even know anything about what he's done here in our neck of the woods as far as comic books go and storytelling. But yeah, what a great life, and my thoughts are with him and his family and everybody who's close to him. So
everybody should wear Hawaiian shirts to conventions for the next year.
That's not a bad idea. That's actually a very good idea. Yeah, that is true. But hey, so enough of that. Let's we could talk. I'm sure we'll got a few shows coming up that I was thinking about doing related to George and whatnot, because he's one of as far as prolific artists goes. I think he's probably ranks just behind John Byrne with the amount of published artwork that's on CAF. I mean, he's one of the most well collected artists out there. So I've been thinking about what I might want to do to just kind of show off some things and talk about George going forward, because there's lots of people who have great stories about him. But we're here to talk about the ComicConnect auction. As far as the art portion of the auction ends on Monday, but I believe it extends into the whole week, right? As far as comics.
Yeah, I think we're going to Saturday this time. Our auction is it's loaded.
That's what it looked like.
It's art on Monday and memorabilia. Tuesday, comics start, but Tuesday starts with a dedicated. It's pulps and then a dedicated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles section of the auction. It's like 100 Ninja Turtle pieces. It's like there's some art in that too. I have some of that I'll show. Some rare memorabilia, some of all the rarest Turtles comics, toys, all sorts of cool things. So many turtle things.
Well, that's a lot of people are putting their comics out there these days. I mean, with the prices that they're fetching, it's not surprising. So I'm sure you guys are going to do really well throughout the week.
In there, there's art. There's a few pieces of art in that. There's a bunch of sketch covers. Mm-hmm. It's worth having a look. Just art people don't only look Monday.
All right, you said it. Yeah, and I saw Ian ST says, hey, I put bids on those banners that are right behind you. So really low ones.
You want to start with these? I'm going to pick up the laptop here, because they're gigantic.
I can get you to go full screen.
It's still not enough.
It still won't be enough.
They're so big that they're going into our.
They're covering your emergency exit.
It's all the way to the corner, and going onto the door a little bit.
Wow. So, well, I hope that the fire alarm doesn't go off tonight.
That would be bad.
Wow.
Because that's the only way out besides the elevator. These were done for. I'm here. Right after Jack Kirby died, like within that time period, so 93, 94, something around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of these were signed 94, as like a memorial to Jack Kirby, and artists would come and sign the banner and do little drawings, and and then a tribute to Jack, and it's really cool. So I'm not going to go over everyone because there's too many, but this is some highlights for George Perez.
Right.
But yeah, there's some cool ones. Joe Quesada, Stephen Platt, Steve Lieber, Mike Grell, John Romita wrote a little note. John Romita Jr. Scott McDaniel, Mike Warengo, Lee Weeks. Just giving Bernie Wrightson down here. Ron Friends. We got Joe Madureira, little Alex Ross drawing of the thing. I don't know what you can see.
Oh no, I can see it all. Yep.
Okay.
You're doing a good job.
Adam Hughes, little Jim Lee Magneto over here in the corner.
Wow.
So that's the first banner. The second banner, because you can't memorialize Jack Kirby on one 10-foot banner. Up here, got little Jeff Smith down here, little Mike Plug, Al Williamson, Rob Liefeld up there. I think that's Rob Liefeld over there in the corner too. I think he started and then realized he didn't have enough room and drew it again over there. Bruce Timm. Yeah. That's Eric Larson. There's just so many. Dan Fraga, Sergio Aragones, Steve Rude, the Julie Schwartz and Erwin Hazen, Shelby Moldoff, little Golden Age section over here. And Greg LaRoque. They're really cool. They're so big.
Yeah. How are you gonna ship those though? That's the question.
Rolled. They're plastic.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I did not realize that was the material was plastic. It wasn't very shiny, so it must be kind of flat.
Yeah, it's like that kind of like banner. This and this red line is tape. I guess that was put on at the time because people were drawing over it. But they're just like plastic, plastic banners. But they're pretty neat, and they're the kind of thing that can never be recreated. They exist only as a little time capsule of that particular time.
Well, that's really, really cool.
And it's I love jams and just like bunches of little drawings by artists. They art that only exists because somebody said, hey, let's do this, and not published artwork is artists are drawing, that's their job. But these things are done for fans. They're done for in the case of these as a memorial. But we have and we have the other jam pieces we have. We'll move on to those. We have these other, not quite as gigantic but also large. Stand up a little bit. These were put together just by a fan at a conventions in the late 80s, and he would go to artists and have them draw. He did one board of DC characters and one board of Marvel characters, and he got artists to draw the characters as they appeared in their first appearances. So this one has Captain Marvel by Mike Grell. That is Batman by I'm gonna blank on his name. Hang on. That is Chris Wagner, and Wonder Woman by Mark Beecham. And over here, the Superman is by Jim Lee, a very young Jim Lee. Can you see that? And the story goes that when Jim Lee probably had recently started working. He'd probably been working professionally for a year or so. Was not popular, or not. They wasn't popular, but hadn't risen to stardom. And when the guy who put this together asked Jim to do the drawing, he told him that he had never drawn Superman for a fan before. So this is potentially Jim Lee's first ever fan drawing of Superman. And that's and who would have known what his future with the character would hold. So that's pretty cool. And to the comment there, the S looked like that at the beginning. So that's Jim doing the Golden Age version of the early Golden Age version of Superman's symbol with his little like the strappy boots.
Yeah. And this is when was this? Early 90s?
This is like late 89?
89, okay.
And the Marvel one, also enormous. And he had good taste in artists. The Marvel one, again, these things are too big. They're actually great. They're on really nice boards. They display really well. The Marvel one has Submariner by Dennis Cowan. That's The Wizard. Who could forget The Wizard by Larry Stroman down there. A beautiful Captain America by Steve Rude. Just a great drawing.
It is.
Bucky by Adam Hughes. Toro down here by Mike Mignola. Just the last character in the world I would have ever guessed Mignola to draw, and he did it perfect. I think it's great. And a nice little colored pencil, Matt Wagner, Human Torch.
Very nice. That Captain America really stands out on that page.
It really does. It's like he put some effort into that. He didn't. He wasn't fooling around.
No, they're all great though. But wow.
And and this is the case where there's no other piece of art like this. Somebody else might have had people draw these characters on the same thing, but not by these artists, not like this. It's one of the joys of original artists. Things like this. And available.
I love it. I love jams too. No,
they're cool. It makes me wish I had done more of them. The first drawings I ever got at a convention, this is probably 1991, was just like 5 or 6 artists on a backing board.
Mm-hmm.
Was doing little whatever, and I still have that backing board.
I have never done a jam sketch before. Never.
It wasn't the intention when I did it. It was just that's the backing board. That's what I had. I didn't start putting more thought into it till after that. I was probably 1991. I was 16, and I was like, "Oh, these people will do little sketches. I'm going to get some of those." I've got another Walt Simonson's on there. Who's on that board? Walt Simonson's on it. Mark Teixeira is on it. I think Paul Chadwick is on it. Some New York show in 1991.
And you kept it. You still got it.
There's a few pieces of art I can never sell, and there's like the first sketches I ever got, the first commission I ever paid for, the first published page I ever bought. I'll never sell any of those because they mean something. Everything else is up for grabs.
That's probably not true. But I know what you mean, though. Those they have a special place in your collection that you could never let them go. I mean, I have definitely.
Honestly, they're not worth as much to anybody else.
Right.
The published page maybe, but it's not a great page. It was $20. I can't complain. It's worth more than that.
I think I still own the first. Well, I know I still own the first published page I bought, but I don't think I'm more than likely sold anything else that was a first for me. The published page, even though it's like for me it's totally worthless, but I love it and I never let it go because I just remember the whole act of wanting to get it, getting it, picking it up. I actually picked it up in person, and so that'll stay in the collection forever.
The first published page I bought is maybe the worst page from a great comic. So it's from.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say you got to tell us now.
Yeah, I know, of course. I'm not going to leave you all hanging. It's from Grant Morrison's Animal Man.
Oh, sweet!
So great comic, but it's literally Animal Man like getting out of bed and opening his mail.
You got to have one of those pages.
It's $20. And honestly, based on what those pages have been going for, I'm happy to have that.
Oh yeah. So how would you like to proceed with tonight? I mean, do you want me to go ahead and just hop onto the site and show it that way, or do you want to? What do you?
Sure, we can do a little combination of both.
Okay.
So I don't know that I have things necessarily in the order that you would see them, but we can. You pull them up and I'll dig them out.
All right, that sounds good to me. Let's see. So I think I had already ordered this by highest bid currently. So I've got that Gil Kane Inhumans #1 cover.
Bam.
Oh, see, there you go. I knew. Well, I figured you'd have that.
I'm prepared.
There we go.
This cover is cool. It's the first Inhumans. It's the first Inhuman solo title. It's pretty, and Gil Kane. It's Gil Kane. What, Giacoya? It's a good team and with a good drawing of cool characters. And eventually, they'll be in a movie or something. Because that's never happened before. I'm pretty sure the Inhumans have never been in live action. I'm going to stand by that statement.
I believe you are right. But yeah, no, I've always loved this cover, and I don't know. Blastar's always been like a cool villain to me. So
yeah.
This is great, and Gil Kane. I mean,
yeah.
He's one of my favorite artists of this period, and I mean, it always was a great cover artist. And so,
all original stats, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of little stats on here, and they're all there, which is nice. It's a really strong cover, and yeah, I mean, it's hard to go wrong. All right,
and they are the most uncanny heroes of all.
They are. Are they the most uncanny?
I think that should have been more of a question mark at the end of that.
The X-Men weren't uncanny yet.
That's right. Exactly. So they were
in fact the most uncanny.
But yeah, no, I love this cover. I think it's gonna do really well.
I think the X-Men didn't become uncanny till like 78 or 79.
You know what? I believe you're right. I believe you're right.
Don't hold me to that.
But I Vincent loves Gil Kane, so this is
somebody is saying that there was an Inhumans TV series, and I have no memory of that. I don't think that ever actually happened.
I'm gonna have to go over to YouTube. Oh, wait a minute, there was.
I know that.
And it was so bad. Oh no, that's just it. Okay. Well, no, it's so bad. I actually never saw it because I had read the reviews to that darn thing, and everybody had always talked about how terrible it was. So I kind of shut it out of my mind. Yeah. I've never seen it. Did you see it?
I watched one episode,
and it was all you could take was one episode, right? Oh
yes.
My God. Well, see, everything I had read, I just decided not to even watch it. So I'd forgotten about it.
You can't win them all.
No, they struck out on that one.
Yeah, Marvel TV record is pretty strong, so hey, I'll allow one miss,
one flop. Well, the Inhumans weren't that fantastic, I mean, as a show, but I would have to believe if they ever put them on the big screen, I think that they could do something with them that would be pretty cool.
I think there's a good story to be told. It's just they didn't do it the first try. That's okay.
Well, just imagine if they wove them into an FF kind of story. That would be pretty
cool. It makes more sense. That we'll see what happens. I would be surprised if we never see the Inhumans again in a live action thing.
People just need time to forget.
Exactly. I think they've already forgotten.
I totally forgot. Oh man! All right, so got a Jerry Robinson piece next.
Batman. I got that over here. I'm gonna leave this in this bag actually because these pages are 80 years old.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you go full screen for a minute there. Yeah, that's all right. Cool.
These I'll take it out just for a minute because it's glare and it's amazing. These early Golden Age DC pages.
Wow.
They're just so unbelievably rare. I mean, as far as I know, Jerry Robinson saved his own artwork by taking it out of the trash. And he got Batman and Robin tied up. What's not the love? So like he, personally, even at the time in 1941, when this page is from, Batman number 14, knew that he was like, I can't let this stuff get thrown away. And I'm so glad he did because it's you try not to think about all the other art that wasn't rescued out of the trash. But it's like, the fact that as much of it survives as does is just it's historically significant. I mean, this is, Batman had only been around for 2 years, 3 years, something like that was, and yeah, Robinson, as much as anybody, sort of defined what those early Batman comics looked like. And it's really wonderful drawing. And, I noticed that looking at the pages, you see things in the drawing in the original that you don't see in the comic. Just it's there because they're so much bigger. They're not, muddied by printing and color. And Robinson was a really, really fabulous artist. And you can really see it, both in this page and in the other. You want to, pull up the other one?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I'm just marveling at it. I looked at it earlier, and I'm looking at it now. I mean, every one of these panels is just fantastic. That first panel is. I mean,
I love the hair in the third panel, like the hair on the moon in the third panel. Just wonderful drawing.
Wow, no, that's a beauty. Yeah, let's see. Let's get this other.
The other one is Detective Comics number. I want to say 79. Yeah, so this one's Detective 79, 1942. It's Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson going and getting involved in the high stakes world of the theater because a gypsy fortune teller told them that things were going south because it was the 40s, and that's what happened.
Madame Calagra.
Yeah.
Serious. But again, every one of these panels, I mean, the characters are the way they're drawn. I mean, it's not lifelike, but it's so cool. I just love it. As far as
especially when you go back this early, you don't think about you don't think about the artists putting that much effort into the work. It was a lot of people like working as quickly as they could. And I don't get that feeling from looking at these pages. It looks like he cared. Like in the first panel here, I don't know if you can really see it. The first panel, I'll bring it up closer. There's people in the background. They're tiny. In the comic, you can't see that. I guarantee it. I mean, they might be there, but you can't make out what they are. But he put the effort into drawing them. And that's fantastic. It's cool. Yeah, I consider it a privilege just to have these around in the office until somebody buys them.
I mean, now that looks like a pretty heavy board. Was it drawn on that, or was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was put onto the board after the fact.
No, both of them were on this really heavy board, which is interesting, actually. I haven't seen a whole lot of early DC art, so I don't know if that was normal. The Batman page has some drawings on a little drawing on the back. Pull that out. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Little sketches on the back. So yeah, these are like illustration board.
Well, whoever ends up with those they're going to be very, very pleased.
Yeah, I agree. Whatever they pay for them isn't enough.
Well, you never know. You never know where. With the way the state of auctions today. Gosh, you've like you can see right there. There's 6 days left on the timer. So I guess that's telling us that do all the auctions start ending at 9 o'clock next Monday?
No, the auctions start ending at 7 o'clock Eastern time on Monday, and then
7. Okay.
Yeah, and then I think it's every 30 seconds, but an auction doesn't end until there's been no bids for 3 minutes.
Got it. So 7 o'clock is when people want.
7 o'clock is when the first lot ends, ostensibly, unless there's extra bidding. The first lots are the Kirby banners.
Oh, that's okay. That was the default sort order when I went to the.
Yeah. The Kirby banners and the 2 jam pieces are the first pieces, and then from there it goes alphabetical by artist.
Very, very smart. All right. Let's see. How about that Barry Windsor-Smith?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Barry Smith, Conan number 6.
This is really cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got it out here. I'll switch over to you for a minute. There we go.
So yeah, I mean, as nice and early Conan pages as you'll see, it's got a lot of variety. Conan's kicking a guy, stealing his. I think not stealing money, but retrieving. Conan doesn't steal. He he saves.
Yes, liberates.
But great Smith backgrounds. This middle panel on the bottom, just beautiful Smith design. It is, yeah, just good stuff.
Right. This is from 1971.
1971, inked by Sal Buscema.
Yes,
but it's very Barry Smithy though. It's you really see his hand in it. I like that. Yeah, there's just with the shading in here and the close up. It's a really, and this is all Barry Smith's handwriting in the margins. He has very distinctive handwriting, little, very like loopy. It's a pretty fantastic page.
Well, another
great
one. Yeah. So I know that we've talked about your role there before, but I mean, you handle a lot of the inquiries from consigners and whatnot, right? As far as your goes, if not
generally,
a lot of it.
For the most part, if art consigners will generally contact me, if it's a comic consigner who also has art, that will get directed to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty much all the art goes through me at some point. If anybody has any questions about anything or wants to contact me for any reason, my email's out there. I'm reachable. Our phone number is on the website. You can call the office. I'm here most of the time.
Except this weekend, because you're going to
Except for this Thursday and Friday and parts of next week, because I'm going to be, I fly back from Chicago on Sunday night. I got to come in on Monday for the auction. Tuesday, I might sleep all day.
See, that was going to be my question for you was, when are you getting back from C2? So you're actually flying back Sunday night.
Flying back Sunday night.
Be there for
and I'll come in here into the office probably around noon on Monday and stay until the auction is over, about midnight-ish.
Well, I know that's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, you're going to need Tuesday to rest.
Yes. So this piece is another big one.
Oh, shoot.
So I'm just going to rest it on here in front of the thing. This is so Kirby did this pencil drawing of Silver Surfer and Dr. Doom in the 70s, from what I gather. And it was originally owned by Graham Nash from Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Mm-hmm.
He sold it in the 90s. And so what this is here is the owner of this had a high-end giclée made of Kirby's pencils, and then had Joe Sinnott ink them in, I want to say 2016. And Sinnott didn't hold back on this. At the time, Sinnott said this was the most difficult piece of art he ever inked. And it's as good an image of the Silver Surfer and Dr. Doom as you could really ask for. It's super Kirby inked by arguably Kirby's best inker. And what's cool about it, and this wasn't the intention. The intention was for Sinnott to ink on a light box the giclée of the pencils and ink over that. And he ended up just inking it directly on the giclée. And I think that actually makes the piece better, because you can see Kirby's pencils behind the inks. And I think that it makes the whole thing just a little more interesting. And yeah, it's big. It's in this really beautiful frame. So I didn't take it out because it's framed really nicely. This piece on a wall would definitely stop people cold. It would turn people in their tracks, I think. It's a pretty striking image.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's hard to see the giclée pencils on the scan, right there as well. But it'd be nice to see that in person.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. I wasn't expecting it to be so impressive when it came in.
Another doozy of a piece, as we say around here. That's
I agree.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the Don Heck next. All right. So the Tales of Suspense 46 page.
Tales of Suspense 46. This is the 8th. I think it's the 8th Iron Man issue of Tales of Suspense. 7th, 8th, something like that.
I am not sure.
Iron Man is still in the big suit.
Right.
Yeah, Iron Man's still in the big suit. This technically isn't Iron Man. This is a Iron Man robot that was created by the Crimson Dynamo, making his first appearance in this story. Technically, so Crimson Dynamo appears on the page before this, but only in one panel from behind. So this is the first full Crimson Dynamo page. And yeah, he's destroying a robot version of Iron Man to show people that, he can defeat Iron Man. He doesn't. Spoilers. Crimson Dynamo does not defeat Iron Man. But this is a great page. Pencils endings by Heck, which is nice. Just a really great early, this is 1963, early Marvel page. Really wonderful.
I love the detail in that fourth panel. I mean, the character is just so cool looking already, and then just the that's a lot of line work in there.
It is indeed.
Wow.
And Heck was a better inker than you'd think. There's really nice brushwork down here.
Mm-hmm.
I wish he had inked more.
Yeah, some people are critical of Heck's work, but I've always enjoyed it. And this is, maybe being an earlier piece. I mean, it just has a really nice feel to it, and you can really see his style in there. It's
Heck. Heck is one of the earliest, Marvel artists that isn't, Kirby and Ditko. I think he should maybe get a little more regard. And he probably had more to do. He didn't create the main heroes, but he created a lot of side characters and a lot of villains. I think people should reconsider his place in Marvel's history.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, it's a great page.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. How about you want to look at the Larry Lieber Rawhide Kid?
You can do that. I think it's one of the better Rawhide Kid covers. I think Lieber did a fair amount of them. Most of them are not quite this dramatic. It's a really nice action scene.
No, I love that. That. Original stats and everything on there too.
Everything's original, yeah. Mm-hmm. There's even some original period tape holding the stats on.
I see that.
It's authentic period tape. It's a great action pose with Rawhide Kid getting bested, at least momentarily. I'm sure Rawhide Kid comes out on top of the issue.
He has to, but it's a very cliffhanger cover there.
Yeah,
as, they would say.
Will the kid meet his death at the hands of the last warrior? I doubt it, but he might.
Exactly, just enough to get you to buy that.
Larry Lieber's still with us, so it's he's one of the guys still kicking. As far as I know, unless I haven't heard something.
I am not sure, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure he's still around.
Yeah, well, that's another one that's going to go to a happy home.
Yeah,
I'm sure of that. So sometimes I know you do at the shop there. You actually let people come in and even preview some of the stuff. Is that something that you guys were allowing anybody to come in before the auction kind of started? As long as
we don't like people just popping in. As long as they call in, make sure there's not going to be somebody else around at that time. We're happy to have people come in and look at stuff ahead of the auctions, or just come in and look at the art on the walls. That's more than welcome. There's, you can't browse the comics. That's just not how we're set up. But, if you want, if there's art on our website or comics on our website that you want to see, and you're in New York, you're welcome to let us know what you want to see, and we can have stuff ready for anybody who wants to come by.
There you have it. I think we've talked about that before, but that's something people should be aware of. I mean, a trip to Metropolis and ComicConnect is something everybody should partake in if they're able. I haven't done it yet. And I mean, I've been in the hobby over 20 years and I've never been there. So something is wrong.
Right.
Oh man. All right. Let's take a look at this Cap 200 page.
Mr. Jack Kirby. Yeah, it's all Falcon in every panel, smashing stuff, flying at people, getting shot at. He's doing what the Falcon does.
Yeah, nobody drew him like Jack did.
No.
Nobody drew any characters like Jack, right? It was funny. I was listening to I had Neil Adams on the show on Saturday, and I had been listening to some interviews with him, and it was just I don't even remember which YouTube interview it was, but he was talking about Jack and how Jack just kind of like took anatomy and he just kind of he'd draw like sinew where the sinew was supposed to be, sort of, but it all worked. You look at his arms and they don't, the muscles aren't quite right, but man, Jack, nobody drew action and physique like Jack. I mean, and he wouldn't. That's why when I was a kid, I didn't get it. Like looking at this stuff, and I'm like, guys, why that doesn't look right? But you look at it here, and it's just so beautiful. It's so amazing. And
it's one of the things about comics is that they don't have to be right; they have to feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything's drawn exactly correct, sometimes that can be boring. So if Kirby understood how to exaggerate for maximum effect.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it was, because Kirby could draw, we've seen Kirby drawings that are much more, like artistically accurate. But that's not that didn't make his work better. His work his art is all about feel. And it feels right. It shouldn't be any other way. If it were done any other way, it wouldn't be as exciting.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, I've only got one Kirby piece in my collection, but I need to add a few more before I can't afford anymore.
I have 1.5.
1.5. How do you manage to have 1.5? Was it at like a half page?
I have a page, and then I have a panel, just like a single panel from one of the Sky Masters Sunday strips. Oh, okay. But it wasn't cut up. I don't want anybody to think that I partook in somebody cutting up a comic. But it was for the Sunday strips that they would create an extra panel that was separate, and that would be either inserted into the strip or not, depending on how much space the newspaper wanted to give. And that's I think maybe still done on Sunday strips, where they can cut, like if you look at like a lot of like Sunday strips from like this, say the 70s forward, they would have the top tier with like the title and like one panel.
Mm-hmm.
And newspapers could print it as that, or they could chop that whole tier off and just print the rest of it. So that first panel was always made so that it could be either there or not there, and the strip wouldn't lose any of its intent. And there's your history lesson for today.
And that's what you've got. That's pretty cool. That's it. I think that. Do you have any of your calf?
It is, yeah.
All right.
It's my only Wallywood.
I'm gonna. Oh, wait a minute! I do remember that piece. Okay, I know exactly which one you're talking about now. All right, very very nice. I have always wanted a Sky Masters strip, but I would take a single panel too.
I love them. They're around.
Yeah, they don't turn up as often as they want to. Like I've seen a few for sale recently, but I'd really want them, in space or something. I've seen a few that where they.
Oh, for sure.
And that's the trick. And it's and I'd seen a few when they were a little more affordable, like 4 or 5 years ago, but I haven't really seen any strips that caught my eye where that I felt like I had to have it. So and now that I really want one, I haven't seen any of them where they're in in their suits or anything. They're always on they're on Earth or in the water, landing on them. Just nothing that's really hit me. So one day.
Don't wait too long, because then you'll end up where I was with Macro Boy Flash Gordon Sundays. It's like for For years, they were $300. Every single one was $300. And now they aren't. And I don't have one. Because, you wait, and then the prices pass you by.
Right. And those Raboy pieces are amazing. I've seen a few over at Berkey's house, and they're just amazing detail, man. And he always feels like Raboy is like one of the best inkers out there. But if you look at the work really close, it's just unbelievable. I mean,
he's my favorite superhero artist of the Golden Age, Mike Raboy.
Well,
I can't say he's my favorite artist of the Golden Age because Will Eisner and Basil Wolverton both exist.
There you go. Oh man! Well, here I got another Don Heck. Yeah,
another early Marvel Don Heck page. Avengers 12, Mole Man, Iron Man, the little Captain America, little Thor, a Giant Man. Yeah, I love this fourth panel, the silhouette panel. It's really it's cool. And yeah. Who doesn't love Mole Man?
He's one of my favorite villains.
Yeah. The first Marvel villain ever.
Very true.
I love these early Silver Age Marvel pages. They're all so interesting and they're so 60s. Big machinery, lots of action. Yeah, this is
I like this page a lot. Well, but like you, I like the fourth panel.
Yeah,
and that fifth panel is just I don't know. I love. Sometimes I don't like busy pages or things, but like I love that panel where it's just the line work. I'm not quite sure because you see it in color, it'd probably make a whole lot more sense. But I just love the fact that he's like filled it all in with cross hatching and you've got your little zits and stuff going on there. It's pretty cool.
And the Avengers, the Avengers team up to destroy the Mole Man's machine. And I don't know who this guy is with the Mole Man. I'm sure he's somebody. I should read all these old Avengers comics. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's probably been about 15 years for me since I read this book. But
I don't know who these guys are that are being wrapped up in this first panel, but I love them.
They deserved it. Oh man, let's see. Moving over to DC next, and Nick Cardy Superman.
Cardy Superman. Superman 275.
That is correct.
Yeah. This is a very peculiar piece of art, and I wish Nick Cardy were still alive so I could ask him why it looks like this. So it's
I'm
like
I'm gonna switch over to your camera so you can show us the art.
All right. So there's like 4 different pasted up elements in here. So you got the actual board. So like all the stuff in the foreground and the Clark Kent figure are on the actual board. The Superman suit is on a separate board. It's all original. It's not stats or copies or anything. But so the Superman suit's on a separate board that was pasted down. The cat over here is on another board that was cut out and pasted down on top of the Superman suit over here, but behind the Superman suit up here. It's very strange, but very unique. It's almost 3-dimensional. It almost feels like clip art, but it's all original drawing. And I would love to know why, but that's such as the nature of comic art in the 60s and 70s. It was whatever it took to get the art to look the way you wanted it to in the published comic was all that mattered.
Right. I was honestly just pulling up here. Let me switch this. I was looking at your site for a published image of that too, just because I was curious to see if there was any reason, any 3-dimensionality here that would stand out doing that.
It looks like he just wasn't happy with the drawing. There's a lot of whiteout. So I think he just wasn't happy with it, and there was so much whiteout that it was easier to draw it on separate boards and then paste it down than it was to try to draw it over the white.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense. You're right.
But the nice 70s Superman cover, though. It's a very, very 70s. And it's Superman's version of Spider-Man No More. He's throwing the suit in the trash.
And scaring a cat at the same time.
And scaring a cat. Superman should rescue cats, not scare them. I don't know what he's. Very disappointed with Superman.
Very nice cover. Very, very nice cover. Oh man, let's see. Marcus Way says it was a Black Cat appearance. Thank you, Marcus. Always keeping us in stitches around here. Oh yeah, and Mickey says, "Hold up the art higher next time."
Oh, sorry.
We always get direction from the audience when I forget to do it. But let's see here. What do we got? A Ghost cover by Dominguez.
Ghost.
We got that one with you
before. I love these 70s DC horror covers.
Oh yeah.
This is a nice one. It's got skeleton prison guards in it. I mean, if that isn't horrific, I don't know what is. And then Dominguez was one of the best. Dominguez was one of the best at this DC 70s horror.
Oh heck yeah! I mean, nobody. You think of Dominguez first, right? When you think of any DC horror from this period, as far as cover work goes, man, he was just incredible.
Yeah, it's a strong one. It's a great image. It's big. Yeah, I love it. I love the DC horror titles. I think they get overlooked a lot. Everybody loves the Swamp Thing stuff and the Bernie Wrightson stuff, and some Neil Adams did some great stuff in the horror titles. Just some cool, and all the Sergio Aragonés stuff in the horror titles.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of fun. I get the feeling that those books are a lot of fun to make. Now we up to Humberto.
I did a lot of. I read a lot of horror back in the day too. Yeah. I mean, and probably just because DC did such a good job of that.
It's all thanks to Joe Orlando. Joe Orlando was responsible for all the DC horror titles in the 70s.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's responsible for launching that like shift in House of Mystery and House of Secrets into more EC style horror.
Mm-hmm.
Was all Joe Orlando's doing. And so Swamp Thing was Joe Orlando's doing. Without Joe Orlando, there's no Swamp Thing. So we can thank him for that.
We owe Joe a lot then.
We do. And Watchmen. I mean, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for Watchmen. Or the credit for drawing. He's the only artist besides Dave Gibbons to do art in Watchmen. He drew all the pirate.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay. All right. You are a scholar.
I'm keeping his legacy alive. I knew Joe. He was a good guy. It's Humberto Ramos drawing as many characters as you can cram onto a Nova cover. They got some Iron Men. I think that's Iron Man and what's the other? She's getting a TV show. What's that character called? Somebody help. Nobody's helping.
Oh, they'll always help.
Is this why I say it in the? I might say it in the description.
Very small print.
Yeah.
But it's from 2016.
Yeah, so you got Iron Man, Nova, Miles Morales, Ms. Marvel, Jane Foster, Thor. That's the Falcon as Captain America, Vision. And I think that's Peter Parker.
I didn't read this one. I hate to say.
I didn't either. Beautiful cover though. I really love the way he drew Miles Morales. Really, really good drawing.
Well, I mean, I love Ramos's work.
Yeah, no, it's really great, and it's really impressive in person. It's just a ton of detail and a ton of line work. No corner cutting on this. It's like every character that's going to be in a Marvel movie, like all in one cover.
That's true.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel. You got Cap is the Falcon, which would be the next Captain America movie. Jane Foster is Thor, which is the next Thor movie.
Yep.
You know we're going to see Nova eventually. Miles Morales. Yeah, we got the new Spider-Verse trailer yesterday, 2 days ago, something like that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it as well. Let's see. I'm sorry, Mikhail, you can't claim this for $500. Oh man. All right. Let's see. What do we got next here?
Ironheart. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking over at the chat. There you go. Yes. Thank you, Marcus. Let's see. You want to look at the Marshall Rogers?
Sure.
I'm not sure. Was that one of the ones that you had sent me? Yeah, that's one of the ones. Okay.
So this piece has an interesting history. So Marshall Rogers drew this in 1980 as just an inventory cover for Marvel, just like a cover for them, something for them to have if they ever needed a Spider-Man cover, in a pinch.
Sure.
And so apparently they didn't. So it was published in Marvel as a pinup in Marvel Tales number 130.
Mm-hmm.
And the coloring was done after that. The coloring was done by Marshall Rogers for whoever he sold it to in 1982. So it was drawn in 1980, colored in 1982, signed twice. Once when he drew it, once when he colored it. And it's just a great Marshall Rogers Spider-Man piece. It would have been a cool cover. I kind of wish it happened. Nice big Spider-Man swinging through the buildings. That's what he does.
That's a great image. I like it. That's
Yeah, Marshall Rogers didn't draw Spider-Man enough, I don't think. He's too busy drawing Batman.
I was gonna say he had other chores, but yeah, no, it's a great image without question.
It is. It does. People have differing opinions on artwork that's colored over the original, but I think when it's done by the same artist who drew the piece, I don't have a problem with it. It's done really well. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yep, no problem. You were admiring it.
I like this piece a lot.
Again, this is a very nice selection of the artwork that you guys have this time around.
Thank you.
I mean, you always do, but the way that the market is today, it's just so surprising to see so many good pieces still coming out all the time. I mean, I know I'm sure it's partially because signers are excited and they want to get see where certain pieces are going to wind up and.
For sure,
but still, there's so many other people that are hoarding now, right? I mean, they don't want to show anything, they don't want to sell anything, they want to see.
Yeah, it's amazing. Across the board, there's a lot available, and it's. I don't envy people trying to choose what to buy, but when you do choose, you should buy them from us.
Exactly. And everybody should remember you have that 3-minute timer after a bid goes off, and if you get outbid, you still have the opportunity to come back and place your bid.
Yeah, so, this isn't eBay. You can't be sniped.
That's very, very true, and it's good. I mean, that's really is one of the most unique things about your platform, and I bet I know a lot of people have to appreciate that.
Yeah.
Except those people who like to snipe.
Joe Kubert, Punisher Warzone. I don't know. Don't hold me to this, but I can't think of any other Joe Kubert Punisher covers. I could be wrong. Not necessarily something he was known for, but maybe it should have been. He drew a good Punisher. And with with all the war comics that Kubert did, it kind of makes sense. I'm surprised nobody thought of it earlier.
Right.
This is 1994. He drew this whole issue.
Wow, this is really, really cool. And you're right. I mean, he's known most for his war story artwork, and drawing the Punisher is an obvious fit. And thank you, Mikhail. I didn't even notice the super chat from Mikhail saying that you have a nice selection bonus. So you've earned us a super chat this evening, Micah.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah,
but no, this is great.
I like it. Kubert, I mean, it's hard to, I'm personally, like, I'm drawn to artists with very distinct, like, identifiable styles. And Kubert is for sure one of those. You can tell a Kubert, and, for a guy who drew about 5 decades, at least, Kubert art from the 40s still looks like Joe Kubert. Kubert art from the 2000s looks like Joe Kubert. It's not a lot of artists maintain that level of consistency. Eisner did, Kubert did. It's really, it's a difficult thing to do.
Agreed.
George Perez did. George Perez, looks like George Perez in the 70s, looks like George Perez 5 years ago.
That is very, very true, isn't it? I mean, it's unmistakable. I mean, sometimes the inker might make it a little different, but still the line work and the layout and the accomplishment in his work is definitely consistent period over period. You're right.
Yep. Let's move on.
Yes. Sorry. I could stare at that one for a while. Well, there's a Rolling Stones.
We can talk about the Rolling Stones piece. It's not really comic art. I don't have it here. It's enormous, but it's a painting of the Rolling Stones logo by the guy who designed the Rolling Stones logo. I mean, if you're a Rolling Stones fan, I can't imagine anything much cooler than that.
Well, I am a fan of the Rolling Stones. I have to admit.
I'm also a fan of the Rolling Stones. But it's oversized. I take it. It's like dimensions are in the thing. I think it's something like 3 feet square, give or take.
Yeah. It's 2x2 roughly.
Oh, okay, so a little bit bigger than that, but a little bit smaller than that. But it's pretty. It's a sizable lips.
You want to? How about? Well, here's another Kirby piece. You want to look at the Dave Sim though next?
Yeah, let's
service.
There's another Kirby. Check so you can find it on the website.
There you go. Gunsmoke piece by Kirby. But,
This is Cerebus number 70. That's right in the middle of the church and state storyline.
Yeah.
This is I have a weakness for Cerebus personally, and this time period especially. I love the drawing around this time period. It's Sim and Gerhard, who drew the backgrounds, were really hitting their stride. Gerhard had been around for a couple years at this point, drawing the backgrounds. They started working really well together. A really nice, shadow. Nobody was better at pacing and layout and working balloons and text into the story than Dave Sim was. Really marvelous. And and Gerhard's drawing is ridiculous. It's a level of detail it's so much detail it should be bad.
Yeah, we had I had Gerhard on a show, doing an art sale with him, and just listening to him talk about how much joy he got out of doing the backgrounds and what I mean. You could tell. I mean, he's very proud of his work. I mean, and he should be, because this. I mean, I just love the bricks. We always talk about bricks, but these are some darn good bricks in this drawing. And
Cerebus is Pope here, and he's drunk.
Yep.
So it's really ideal. It's like Cerebus is drunk. What more do you need? I mean,
that's pretty much how you want him. I mean, at the end of the But
I
mean, I love it. The shadow work, everything about this.
Yeah. Pope should be drunk more often.
See, the more I'm looking at this page, the more I think I should bid on it. This is a really great page, and it's still at a fair price.
Yeah.
And now we have a George Perez piece.
Yep. It's Avengers number 200.
Yeah. Love that top panel.
Yeah, and it's just that first panel is, that's pretty Perez-y right there. And it's got everybody in that first panel, and even the background drawing on the rest of the page. He put so much work into making things look right. and not in a way that. And again, like we were talking about Gerhardt, it's like you can overdo that and it could end up boring. And it's not boring. And Perez was a great storyteller. So the layout of this page is really nice. The transitions are nice, and it's got dinosaurs in it. Dinosaurs on the bottom, Avengers on the top.
The team up you never would have expected right there on the page.
Nope. We have 2 pages from issue 200s in this auction. The Avengers 200 and Captain America 200, the Kirby page.
That's true. Well, another good one.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we got? Oh, John Byrne.
Byrne,
Generation 3.
Generations cover.
Yep.
Byrne's weird look into the future of Batman and Superman, like literally generations into the future of Batman and Superman and their offspring.
Mm-hmm.
I remember these comics being a lot of fun. I haven't read them since they came out. I will read them again. And all these.
I read the first couple issues from it, but I didn't read the whole thing. But
I have a John Byrne weakness.
Well, I think many people from our generation do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I first started really collecting comics, it was because I loved John Byrne's artwork, and that's why when I would see Kirby, I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I want to see John Byrne art. I want to see.
If there's no John Byrne art without Kirby.
Right. I know, but I didn't know that one. My 12-year-old self did not quite understand that. It took me a little while.
I didn't like Jack Kirby the first time I saw his art, but in my defense, the first time I saw Kirby's art was on the Superpowers miniseries, and that's still not particularly good.
So he can have a few misses here or there.
Yeah, but Byrne's take on the Green Lanterns of the future, and that's one of Superman's, I don't know, let's say like great granddaughter probably. At this point, this comic gets pretty deep into the future, but it's a lot of fun. I think Byrne's writing doesn't get as much credit as it should. I think he's, guy takes a lot of hits, but his he swung hard, and you like the Kirby, like Superpowers. You don't hit every time, but I'd rather somebody try too hard and not always connect than do the easy thing and it's just fine all the time.
No, I agree. I mean, there'll never be another John Byrne. I mean, as prolific as an artist and a writer and a creator to span his time between Marvel and DC. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and his creator stuff. I mean, he's
right.
And even now, he's sitting at home cranking out X-Men comics for free.
Well, at some point that I can't see how something doesn't happen with all of that work that he's putting into that. But
I agree. I think it's silly to not publish those. I think that I think the sales would be ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, clearly the fans are, loving every minute of it.
Yeah, so and the work is good. The drawing is good. It's he's still John Byrne. He can still draw.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. All right. I know some people have been wanting to see this one. This is a great Gene Colan Tomb of Dracula.
Yeah, Tomb of Dracula. We had a Tomb of Dracula slash in the last auction too, and this one's better. It is great image of Dracula with I think that's the white dot zipatone over it, which is a cool effect. I love antiquated comic book effects. Big fan of things that they don't teach anymore. Although I like zipatone is making a comeback, and I appreciate it. And I think it's all Felix is.
It is. A very Daniel Warren Johnson's been using it, and I actually. I had gotten a piece of art in the mail the other day that I bought at Comic Art Live, and underneath it was a second piece of art. It was from a rep, and so they were like, "Hey, I wanted to give you this other thing," and I thought it was a print, and I just set it aside. I opened it on live on air because it really looked like a print because it had zipatone effect on it, and I was like, "Oh, it must," I didn't even want to look at it. I set it aside, And as I was putting it away today, I was like, it's actually an inked drawing, but it has Zipatone effects on it. And I reread his letter to me, and he said something about it. I wanted to give you this piece of art from a new guy I'm repping. I thought you'd like it. And I just didn't get it. But yeah, I think you're right. Zipatone is, and it's nice to see it in its pure form, right? Not digitally added.
Yeah. It can be done digitally, but it's not the same.
No, not at all.
There are definitely a few guys that still use it. It's part of it is yes, it can be done digitally, and that's maybe easier, but it's also difficult to get it. Zipatone isn't widely available in America. Most people I know who use it get it from Japan, and that can be a little bit of a pain for a lot of people. So I understand that.
Yeah.
I have squirreled away somewhere a couple of sheets of actual Zipatone brand Zipatone that I could never bring myself to use.
So
they went defunct.
You're going to preserve it for future generations.
Yeah. Well, I found some art store in Queens. This is 20 something years ago. Was like just blowing out all their screen tone, and most of it was the Letraset brand. This is boring to a lot of people, I imagine. And but they had a few sheets of actual Zipatone brand Zipatone, and I don't even remember if they were usable tones or good tones, but I didn't care. I just wanted to buy Zipatone brand Zipatone, and they were like $1.50 a sheet, so who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just
I remember those. I mean, because I used to work at Morse Graphics. I don't know if that was an Ohio. That was probably an Ohio thing. There was but a graphic supply store, and being able to buy Zipatone. I bought it. I never used it though. I probably still have it laying around in portfolios somewhere because
it's a pain in the ass. It's annoying. You gotta sit there with an X-Acto blade over your artwork. But it's rewarding, and I think it adds to originals. I have a handful with it on it. Most of them are old, but I love that you get like Daniel Warren Johnson will do a convention drawing, and even at the convention he'll plop some tone on it. Like that's just great.
No, well, and this is a great page.
Yeah.
No, that's. I actually picked up my first Gene Colan piece, published piece a couple weeks ago too from
nice.
Doctor Strange. But I've always wanted a nice example. I mean, this is a much better example than I got, but same time period though. So this is amazing.
Yeah, no, I need a better Gene Colan. The one I have is bizarre.
There's one right there. Oh boy! All right, so John Buscema now. So we haven't talked about.
This is the Thor, right?
This is Thor from
Thor
issue 211.
211, yeah. That's Ulick the Invincible, and just I mean, 70s Marvel. I don't know, weird aliens and monsters.
Nothing wrong with
as much as that earlier, the Don Heck page was like perfect 60s Marvel. This is pretty perfect 70s Marvel right here. Weird monsters and aliens and machinery shooting big guns.
Yeah, this is a great page. I mean, I love, Buscema's work on Thor was always some of my favorite stories, and this is a great page.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good one. There's so much going on. Like everybody's outfit and armor is different. That's cool. All right, let's move on. Let's try to barrel through some more of this. Some more stuff.
All right. Yeah, we got a lot. Yeah, there's a lot here, and we don't have all night.
Yeah.
All right. So Tusca Iron Man page from issue 16.
Tusca Iron Man. That's a good page too. It's got a big gorilla on it. Gorillas, Iron Man. I mean,
I like the way the panels are broken up.
Yeah,
leading your eye through and around. I love it.
Yeah, Tusca. And we've talked about Tusca before too, another guy who doesn't get talked about enough, whose art was really, really good and distinctive. Like he didn't, he added something, and the layout is particularly interesting. You're right. But yeah, it's that, and monkeys and comics go hand in hand. For all of comics history, there's been this weird obsession with gorillas and monkeys, and I blame Carmine Infantino.
No, but a very, very nice page, and even like you could have done that last panel in 2 panels. But I always enjoy that kind of storytelling where the word bubbles really kind of separate the imagery, and but it helps move you kind of around the page. I love it.
But yeah, gorillas. This was like a proven fact in the 70s that gorillas sold comics. So it was like the way Wolverine was in the 90s, where he was like on the cover of every comic.
Mm-hmm.
Carmine Infantino, when he was the publisher at DC, had a rule that every editor was only allowed 1 gorilla cover per month, because otherwise there would have been gorillas on the covers of every comic. Because they found that the gorilla covers sold better than the non-gorilla covers.
Well, there's a study for everything.
There really is,
including gorilla covers. Well, it was very true with worked well with Wolverine in the 90s for sure. Even the 80s.
It was Wolverine for a while. It was Venom for a while. It was Deadpool for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who it is now.
Who would? I don't know.
It's hard to say. There's so many variants now. There's so many different covers to every comic.
That is quite true. What do we got? We got a Riley Brown, Deadpool, Mrs. Deadpool.
Yeah. That's a nice. Yeah, speaking of Deadpool, it's a Ms. Deadpool.
And Riley Brown, 2015. Okay.
Yeah. Nice. It's got some.
I like Riley's work a lot. I mean, he's really. I mean, the most recent stuff, all that Fortnite work with that was just fantastic, and I mean, he just continues to improve. So
I like all the little details in the frame on the mirror, and I like the little Deadpool Funko Pop.
Yes, I didn't notice that at first.
That's nice.
Very, very cool.
It's got that sense of humor you want in Deadpool art.
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
Interesting reflection. Mm-hmm. Let's see. We got Brave and the Bold up here next.
Yes.
Let's get this over.
This is Brave and the Bold number 29. This is the second. This is page 2 from the second ever Justice League story. So yes, while I understand there's no Justice League on this page, it is still page 2 from the second ever Justice League story, and it is criminally inexpensive right now. 1960. This is so this predates the Marvel Silver Age. This is within a couple years of really the Silver Age at all. And speaking of underrated artists, I've said for years that I think Mike Sekowsky is as important to DC's Silver Age as Carmine Infantino was.
Mm-hmm.
He set the look for basically a decade of DC Comics, and drew a mean gorilla.
Yeah, I saw that. I liked. Where was it? Scott Wingo mentioned that kids love gorillas, claws, and chains. So that's how. If you've got one of those things on a cover, you're sure to have a hit on your hands.
Absolutely. But I love Sekowsky. I always have. I wish I bought a Justice League page when they were affordable. They were really cheap for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
No.
I do have a Sekowsky, but not a Justice League.
Well, I don't have a Sekowsky yet. But yeah, so that is a good one. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, Sheldon Moldoff.
We've got a few of these in the auction. These Shelley Moldoff sort of like little painted recreations from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They're cool. There's this Spectre one. There's a Hawkman one. There's a Batman and Joker one. I think there's another one that's one of his Good Girl covers, like a recreation of that. I think they're a lot of fun. I like that he was doing these, and they're neat, and you can't get them anymore, alas.
No, that's a good one. I didn't see the other one, so I'll tell you.
There we go. There's the Batman one.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's cool. I see that one too, since we're talking about it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. I think it should say what issue that is a recreation of in the description.
Batman 163.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what are you going to do? These are you're only going to get it. What's that?
Like we were talking about earlier with the Jerry Robinson pages, like the Golden Age stuff doesn't, just so much of it just doesn't exist. So it's like, there isn't a lot of period, original Smoldoff artwork. It's just not around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice that he did these to give people a chance to get some of his originals.
Yeah. And this one's still affordable.
Yep.
And I think his recreations are actually, I mean, the ones I've seen recently sell that they are, they're not going to completely break the bank. But to get them, like you say, you're not going to get an original. So a recreation is about as good as you can hope for.
Yep. We got is that the Sandman page up there?
Yeah, as you say, the All Red Sandman.
Sandman number 54, the Mike Allred issue, that the issue that features Perez, the teenage president.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all know what Sandman pages do. And they just it's another thing, case where there's with 75 issues of Sandman, 20 or so pages per issue. There's a lot of Sandman pages, and you just don't see them for sale. The people who have them keep them.
Oh yeah, no, it's true, and I've always for a book like that, I still would. You'd think that the pages would be out there a little bit more, but they really aren't.
It's as fanatical a collector base as anything in comics. Like the people are. Like people who love the comic, and with good reason. It was a great comic. I'm looking forward to the TV show. But
that's true. That is true. Yeah.
And this is a nice page. Perez all throughout. Allred did really good work on this issue. I think the nice thing about when you get a book like Sandman that where there were so many different artists, like a lot of them, especially by this point when the series had become sort of, like a well-regarded at the time, the artists who were lucky enough to get to draw an issue or a few issues really put a lot of effort into it. Like nobody phoned in an issue of Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that Allred phones in other things, but just this is particularly good.
No, well, Allred never. I mean, he's one of my favorite creators.
No, yeah. I wasn't trying to disparage other Allred.
No. I knew what you meant. Let's see what else. Oh, then Epting interior page.
Oh yeah, we've got this many pages from the first issues of Ed Brubaker's Captain America. This many. It's a lot. It's like 14 or something like that.
Oh wow. I saw like 3 or 4 of them when I was thumbing through things earlier today, but that's quite the selection then.
14 pages, 12 by Epting, 2 by Michael Lark. I think Michael Lark only drew about 10 pages of the flashbacks during that story. They're all from the Winter Soldier arc of Brubaker's Captain America. Several pages from issue 6, which was Winter Soldier's first appearance. This a really good comics. Those are I have pretty high standards, and I really like that run on Captain America. I think, and it paved the way for pretty much all the Captain America stuff in the movies is based on Brubaker's Captain America. Obviously all the Winter Soldier stuff. Just so much of it goes back to there, and Epting's art is great. Michael Lark's art on that series is really good.
I love Michael's art from that series. Well, in general, I love it, but I think he did a fantastic job with Brubaker on that.
And the originals are really nice. Epting had a really nice way. He used like grease pencil and ink wash to create some really nice texture. And Epting's a good artist. I don't think it's easy to think that it's not that special, but the best artists make really difficult things look easy. And Epting was good at that. Still good at that. I don't mean to talk about Steve Epting like he's not drawing anymore.
Oh, no.
That's a really nice page.
It is. Oh, okay. Let's see. What do we got next?
Gary Frank.
Yeah, Gary Frank Batman.
Batman number 23. This would have been Scott Snyder's Batman, I believe.
Oh man, that's a great cover.
Wow. A nice little moody, shadowy Batman cover and you got bats and in the Batcave, looks like. Or I think it's a combination. I don't know what's going on here. I think it's like a mix of the Batcave and Wayne Manor into one image, which is I should read this comic.
I did not read it. That's the way that would be my take on it as well.
Gary Frank's another one, a great artist.
I love Gary's work. I mean, he's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
I think Gary. I've gotten a few things in the mail from people. Gary Frank actually sent me a free sketch of a character when I first started doing streaming, where he was just thanking me for different stuff I've promoted for him over the years, and I thought that was pretty cool. But so a very nice guy, and I appreciate him even more after getting the free sketch. But this is great.
No, I agree, and it's a Batman cover. Can't go wrong with a Batman cover.
No, you cannot. So let's see. So that Jam is on there next, and then a Cosmic Odyssey page.
Yeah,
we see these every once in a while or on the channel, but this is I don't believe this is one that we've seen.
Yeah, it's Metron and his Mobius chair floating around as only Mike Mignola can do. And this Cosmic Odyssey, I think, was the first time I became aware of Mignola, where it's like who's this guy who draws not like anybody else? But is there the Cosmic Odyssey was a very Kirby concept, and Mignola makes sense, and we all know where he went. But I love Metron. I love Cosmic Odyssey. I love Mignola, and he drew these twice up too, which is cool.
And I was just going to say, I think the most, if not where they all were twice up.
I think Cosmic Odyssey was all twice up. Let's see. Let's breeze through some stuff here. Statues.
Yeah.
Some statues.
We got statues. We got the we looked at that. We got a Thor hammer. We got a Sienkiewicz.
Sienkiewicz Legion painting, which is cool.
Is that one you got there? Here, I'm going to put you on screen again.
All right.
In hand.
It's big. It's a full size 11 by 17 Legion painting. I don't know when he did it, but I mean, it's a Legion is cool. Legion, that TV show was great.
I was just going to say that very same thing. I bet you a lot of I really never knew anybody that saw that. I love the show. I thought it was fantastic.
It's one of my favorite comic book TV shows that there's ever been. If anybody hasn't watched the Legion show, they could. And yeah, it does look a little like Kid and Play, but let's not be. Legion looked like that first.
That's right. See, Marcus is always bringing the humor.
Yeah, smart guy.
All right. Yeah. Let's see. We got a Schaffenberg.
Master Comics. More Golden Age art.
Yeah.
Where the Captain Marvel Jr. pays a visit to the Grayson Circus. I can't imagine that's an accident. Going to see the Flying Graysons at the Grayson Circus.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
But yeah, it's more, like cool Golden Age art. And Captain Marvel Jr., I prefer Captain Marvel Jr. to Captain Marvel personally. I think they're better comics. And, Macroboy. Not this is Schaffenberger, but still. The character's more interesting. I like the idea of the sort of crippled Freddie Freeman becoming the superhero Captain Marvel Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Grayson Circus, maybe the Penguin right there.
It looks like the Penguin.
I mean,
I don't know he'd be employed by the Grayson Circus though. But
no, I doubt it.
But no, this is a great page, and
Yeah.
and like you don't get to see a lot of pages from this era, so it's
No,
nice that you've got a few
great,
in the auction.
you got a great little like transformation lightning bolt panel going here too.
Yeah, I like that. And that I like how in the fourth panel they actually whited out the lines on the left and right side. It just it just breaks the page up in a really unique way. But they had them in there first, and then realized that it would look better without them.
That there hasn't been a proper Captain Marvel Jr. reprint collection is a real shame. They've never really done a collection of those Golden Age Captain Marvel Jr. comics, like with the stories here and there, but nothing comprehensive.
Agreed.
I would buy that.
Yeah. We got a Gil Kane.
That's a Superboy. Gil Kane Superboy. Got that. Does that Alpha Flight cover? I have that here. It's the
Alpha Flight.
Yeah, the Alpha Flight piece is interesting because it's identical to the published cover, but it isn't the published cover. I think if I had to guess, I think this cover was drawn first. So the published cover is it's the same. The layout is the same. Everything is the same, but there's less line work in it, and more was done with it. So even this has like a colored version with it. Mm-hmm. But the published version left more to be defined by the color. But everything is identical. Everything's in the same place. It's the same artist. It's just, it's very strange. I think it works really well. I think it's actually a pretty good cover.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the.
And it comes with the color version too.
And the color version is a.
It's a photocopy. Like watercolor over a copy.
Sure. So like an old. All right, makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Which I'm pretty sure is. I think that the published cover was done the same, just over a different drawing. I don't know. It's I can't explain it. Don't ask me to explain it. But it's still
James Sherman. Alpha Flight 83.
Yep.
All right. I actually can't remember the published cover. I'm going to check it out.
You could probably. Yeah, that's not important. All right, let's see what else. What's next?
We got a Kurt Swan Superman page.
Yeah, Kurt Swan.
You got that, or do you want to look at any of it?
You can pull it up if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, Superman or Clark Kent and Lois Lane enjoying a meal.
See, you got to have those pages, just like opening the mail, Micah.
Exactly. And this is the aftermath of, I think this is the issue where they meet the Captain Marvel-like character who isn't actually Captain Marvel. Mm-hmm. They're sort of talking about, Captain Thunder. They're talking about him. It's like, it's Kurt Swan, Superman. I mean, does it get better than that? He drew a
no.
It doesn't.
I was never a Superman fan, but I love Kurt Swan's approach to the character. I've actually owned a few Kurt Swan Superman pages in my time, just because I love his work, and I don't think anybody really drew him quite like he did.
No, so, and Kurt Swan drew Superman for like 30 years.
Yeah, he's amazing. But a very good page.
Yes.
Let's see. There's an Epting. You got a John Byrne Namor page as well.
That's a Bagley Ultimate Spider-Man cover.
Oh yeah, right down here. Yeah. Let's see.
Those were actually printed from the pencil, so that is the finished cover. They were like digitally colored. Mm-hmm. All those Ultimate Spider-Man covers. That's Spider-Man. A lot of covers where the hero is getting look like they're getting defeated. But yeah, Bagley, like Kurt Swan with Superman. I mean, Bagley's one of the most longest tenured Spider-Man artists. Mm-hmm. He drew 100. He drew. Did they match Kirby on FF or did they pass it? I know they matched it. They did at least 103 issues.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I would assume past, but I'm not sure.
Figured
But
more.
I mean, but well, I didn't see that. Sorry. So that's
yes,
so it's got it has it. Does it have an overlay? Is that what?
Yeah, it's an overlay with like a recreated cover stat.
Okay, yeah, got it. But I mean, those covers to Ultimate Spider-Man, they're all. I mean, you think about the first 10, and they're all just so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
When those books came out, I don't know, the covers set the tone for them. So that's good. Really, really nice. Let's see what else we got in here. There is a poker chip. Somebody said poker chip.
Oh, yeah.
I thought
there is a poker chip. That was it is in the auction. That was a wrap party gift for the Dark Knight, the movie The Dark Knight. So it was only available to the cast and crew of The Dark Knight. It was given away at the wrap party, which is pretty neat. It's cool. It's a poker chip with a bat. And honestly, the most I was going to talk about poker chips for a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
They were used as currency at the party. It was like a casino night. So most of them were actually used, traded in and gambled away. So there are not very many of them actually made it out of the party. So that came from somebody. I think somebody it's in the description. Somebody in the makeup department on The Dark Knight or something like that. Costumes or makeup.
Yeah, the makeup department.
Yeah,
well. I mean, you've been to parties like that at San Diego or whatnot, where there's these odd tchotchkes. I've walked away with a few things where I'm just like, I'm not leaving that on the table. That's coming home with me. I remember going to a Dos Equis party, and they had this weird a napkin ring, to slide the napkin in, and it had like the Dos Equis logo on it. And I'm like, I'm not leaving this party without a napkin ring.
Yeah.
So no, that's pretty cool. Let's see. What did I? Oh, here we go. I opened up that Dick Dillon.
Oh yeah.
Justice League page. Yeah.
So there's a nice amount of Bronze Age Justice League pages. Just Bronze Age. I think there's a Justice League, a couple Justice Leagues, and World's Finest. It's a bunch of Rick Estrada Hot Wheels pages, which are very cool. I have a weakness for the Hot Wheels comic.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen a Hot Wheels page before. I mean, not in person anyway. I've seen them on calf, but
I have a Toth Hot Wheels page, but these Estrada Hot Wheels pages are really nice too. Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to see what you got here. Is it Tom Mandrake Spectre? Is it Tom Lyle Spider-Man? It's a bunch of 4 or 5 Jeff Fisherwood Doctor Strange pages in the auction.
You got a nude in there too.
You have a nude. That's a Vargas.
I see that.
It's the weirdest Vargas you'll ever see.
It's cold outside.
That's apparently what it was called. It's a portrait of the Playboy Playmate of the Month from December 1968.
Wow, it's a year I was born.
Yeah, that's Ron Lim. That's Marvel Handbook, or awesome. Marvel Handbook. It's some Excalibur villains.
Mm-hmm. I
also have a weakness for those Excalibur comics.
Ron Wilson Rampaging Hall.
Yeah, that's a Bisley. New Avengers. That was from
I saw that, and at the time I wasn't sure who the artist was because I didn't realize it was Bisley. Very cool.
That was from Marvel did like a Kirby Monsters variant cover month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Bisley's take on I forget the monster. It's in the description. And one of those 50s Kirby monsters. What's he called? The Blip.
The Blip. I love it.
I actually like that. I like the Mr. X cover. I tried to find Dean Motter Mr. X art is excessively rare. There is not a lot of it out there in collections, at least publicly, or available. He didn't draw a lot. Motter mostly wrote Mr. X, but this is we have that right here.
Oh, nice.
And one of the more well regarded and longest lasting of the 80s independent series. And a nice, he's got a big robot, got Mr. X. I like this piece a lot. I'm a fan of 80s independent comics, so there you go.
That's a good one. Good one to have.
Let's see what else I want to show here.
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got there? How's that?
It's Herb Trimpe, G.I. Joe from G.I. Joe Special Missions. It's got a lot of. It's a really strong character page. Bunch of just Stalker and Duke and just some classic G.I. Joe characters on this page. Let's see. Got this Exo Man-O-War Iron Man from their crossover, based on the video game where they crossed over, because comics. It's by Andy Smith. This piece was used a lot. It was the inside cover of both issues of the series, and used in advertising. There's an image of nice. Yeah, Exo and Iron Man make sense together. Let's see. There's a Russ Heath from Dave Sims' Glamourpuss. Russ Heath doing his best, Al Raymond or Stan Drake doing this nice little fine cross-hatched fashion lady. Glamourpuss is an underrated Dave Sims title too. I think he did some really beautiful drawing in that book, and he serialized his Alex Raymond sort of semi-biography in Glamourpuss.
No, it's a very nice Russ Heath.
This is just an illustration by Rick Veitch of Swamp Thing and Man Thing. I think this is published in one of Veitch's self-published books. But yeah, a great artist is combining the two swamp creatures. I like this piece a lot too.
That's very, very cool. I love Veitch's work.
This is
meant to draw it.
This is a cool piece. This is from the David Wenzel's Hobbit adaptation.
David Wenzel, yeah. I love David Wenzel's work.
Yeah,
David Wenzel's
this page was one of the pages that he redid for like a remastered version of the series from like 10 or 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's content-wise, it's the same as this page from the original book, but he repainted it. The layout's a little different. The central image is bigger. But yeah, this is Bilbo and Gollum meeting for the first time in what is still the only ever official Tolkien comic adaptation in America. There's never been a Lord of the Rings comic adaptation in English, and there's never been any other Hobbit adaptations. They're very, very tight on what they'll allow to be adapted.
Well, David's a good choice for that.
I agree.
He's a really amazing painter. He's actually a juror on my upcoming Infected by Art book. So he and I've known him for a while. He's fantastic. That's nice to have in your auction.
Yeah, this is a early comics buyer's guide cover by Terry Beattie. This is 1981. So that's with Terry Beattie drawing Doctor Strange, channeling Steve Ditko and drawing Doctor Strange. And comes with a copy of that issue of the comics.
Wow, very
cool. And it was still the buyer's guide to comics fan. These are neat. There's another buyer's guide cover in the auction too.
Oh, yeah, what was that one? Who did that one?
This one? The other one?
Yeah. Because I didn't see the other one. I'm just curious.
I don't know if it was anybody who went on to have Ruddy Navarro, I want to say was the artist's name.
All right, I'll search and dig it up. I love the the artwork from those. So that's very, very cool.
And pretty much it. So we got these couple of Ninja Turtle pieces that end on Tuesday, not on Monday. This is a cover by Kevin Eastman from the Shredder in Hell miniseries. So Eastman channeling Gustave Doré to do a little Shredder from this. I think the original image that he used on this was from Dante's Inferno, from Doré's Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Eastman's got good taste.
No, yeah, I really enjoy Eastman's the work that he's been putting into the turtle covers and whatnot. I mean, it's just been a lot of fun. It really has been.
And it comes with a prelim. Actually, I think that a photocopy of the prelim, and there's like a packet of assorted Eastman goodies. It's like some copies of things and some signed stuff in there. And let's see. And lastly, it's another Turtles piece. This is Humberto Ramos again, drawing the Turtles.
And is that Tuesday as well?
That's Tuesday, yes. The Turtles stuff all ends on Tuesday. So don't just look on Monday. There's art on Tuesday. Yeah, this is Ramos draws a good turtle. He draws a good everything. It's annoying. I don't like when people are good at too many things.
Yeah,
well, one thing.
He's darn prolific. At the end of the day, he's got a very great resume, right? So no, that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
check out the preview. I didn't look at the Tuesday lot.
There's like 300 pieces of art on the auction. It's a lot, and there's stuff. There's affordable stuff. There's expensive stuff. There's and everything in between. There's a lot to choose from, and there's a lot of good stuff that's affordable, which is nice to have. You don't want to. You don't want to scare people away with the price tags on everything.
No, I mean it's nice to see the high prices and everything, but
sure.
I'll tell you, I think I'm going to put a bid on that Dave Sim though, because I really do like that page. Yeah,
it's good for the hobby because the higher price things get more attention. Mm-hmm. But you want young collectors and new collectors to have things that they can buy, and then they can eventually build up to the bigger things and regret all the things they didn't buy, because that's such as the life of a collector.
That is true. So I should have double checked, but how often are you doing the event auctions now?
They're quarterly.
Because I was gonna say, because the last one was around August, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it was
the next one will be February, or like late February, or early March, somewhere around there.
Okay. And how long, up until when do you take consignments for your quarterly auctions?
I think so. We have there's two sort of deadlines for the auctions. We have our advertising deadline, which I believe is sort of middle of January. Mm-hmm. And then, but we can still add things to the auction after that. They just won't be in any print advertising because that stuff has to all be printed.
Right.
But depends on how important that is to you, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
We've already got some good stuff lined up for the next auction, so it's coming together already. It never stops. There's never a quiet moment putting these things together.
The reason I ask is because I don't think I've ever gotten a consignment deadline email from you. I get those a lot from some of the other auction houses. So it would just be this should be added to your quarterly to-do list is hit me up with at least 2 or 3, because almost everybody else does. Yeah, I mean, and I
thought we did. I apologize.
I don't think. Well, if they're not coming directly to me though, if they maybe they go to Colin. Colin helps me a lot with the news post, so he might get a few of them out there. But I would just say make sure that you do. Last call 10. When it's 2 weeks out or something like that. Be sure to and when it starts. I mean, I'm sure it's always ongoing anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we'll listen to anybody any day.
I got it.
And if anybody watching is going to be in Chicago this weekend, come say hello. I'll be at the Metropolis ComicConnect booth all weekend.
Who's going to be there? Is Vincent going to be there too?
Vince may be there. He's not feeling great right now, so he's on the fence. If he does go, he's only going to be there for Friday.
Okay.
But it's me. I'll be there, and my buddy Jeff. So if anybody wants to talk video games with Jeff, he's happy to talk about it.
All right. Well, I guess safe travels then, because you leave soon for there, and then you get back to babysit all this. And it's always fun doing these with you, Mike. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Even without the hard time constraints, we still had a hard time getting through everything in a reasonable amount of time.
Exactly.
It's easy to talk about stuff.
No, I love talking about art. and you're good because you've got a very good knowledge of things that I don't know a whole lot about. So,
I'm not trying to be snooty, I swear.
No. I mean, it was always cool. Remember, we always sat across from one another in New York when you were working with Scott and everything. And so, I mean, that's Scott's a very knowledgeable guy too. So it was probably pretty cool to hang out with him and
for sure
shoot the breeze about the hobby. So, but at any rate, man, this is always good. What's that?
I taught him a thing or two.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, listen.
Thanks
enjoy
again
the show this weekend. Yeah,
and
it's funny because I've seen I've actually done on our CAF updates, shown some videos from shows, and it's funny. I swear, at least in half of them, I've seen you, because like people will be doing a video walkthrough, and I'm like, there he is again. There's Micah there. There's Micah there. So I've seen you. You've been hitting the shows, as I mean, that's your job. I know.
It's my job. I like comic shows. They're fun.
I need to get a job where I can go to shows as often as you get to go, though.
But yes, so thanks again. And yeah, this auction ends on Monday night, 7:00 Eastern time. It starts. ComicConnect.com.
There you go. And then, hey, before we sign off, the art chemist says, okay, Arsenio. All right.
Roger.
All right.
Reopened, just recently reopened on Washington Place in the West Village. He shut down because of COVID and recently reopened the shop.
Good. Well, congratulations.
That's how New York.
Good.
Time Machine Comics, Washington Place.
Good for the plug. All right. Listen, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Micah, thank you as always. Have a safe trip and best of luck on Monday. I'll be tuning in. I think I'm going to throw some bids in on there. And everybody, don't forget that it's not just Monday starting at 7. There's some art on Tuesday as well, and the Turtles only artwork. And best of luck. All right. I am going to sign off for this. I've got no outro tonight. So have a good evening, everybody. And we'll see you again tomorrow.